Welcome to Behind the Campaign, where we unpack real marketing stories, dive into case studies, and break down strategies that make learning marketing easy and fun. Get ready to uncover the secrets behind successful campaigns and discover how you can apply them to your own brand. Let's dive in.
Okay, let's talk about that. That lightning strike moment. You know the one I mean.
Mm-hmm.
The dream every founder, every marketer has, where your brand just ignites.
Yeah, that sort of ultimate growth hack, the thing that blasts you onto the scene.
Finds you from like nowhere to everywhere, almost overnight.
It's like hitting the marketing jackpot, right?
Yeah.
That one amazing move that makes an unknown name huge. And when it happens, well, you got to break it down.
Absolutely. And that is exactly what we're digging into today. We're focusing on Dollar Shave Club. Remember them?
Oh, yeah.
Back in 2011, you had Mark Levine and Michael Dubin, just two guys fed up with how much razor blades cost. So they did something.
Right. That shared frustration was kind of the seed, wasn't it? They used some of their own cash, got some early help from Science Inc. That's like a startup incubator.
Okay.
And then really fast, their website was live by April 2011, just months after starting. That speed. Pretty remarkable.
It really is. But the moment that, really cemented them, the one everyone talks about, that 2012 launch video.
Ah, yes. The video.
That's when Dollar Shave Club DSC just went viral. Their big aha moment, you could say.
And we're looking at a whole collection of info here that sort of maps out that whole story, right? From the beginning right up until Unilever bought them in 2016. It's a really compressed time frame for that kind of massive growth.
Exactly. So our mission for this deep dive is to really pull apart that Dollar Shave Club rocket rod.
Mm-hmm.
We want to get at the core strategies, the big decisions, and like the principles underneath that fuel this crazy success.
Yeah.
And, pull out some useful insights for you listening.
Because understanding how a company pulls off that kind of rapid growth, it offers really valuable lessons. Even if you're not aiming for $1 billion sale yourself, the ideas often carry over.
Totally. So let's rewind to the start. Mark Levine, Michael Dubin, annoyed about pricey razors.
The classic pain point.
They put in their own money, got that early boost from Science Inc., the initial fuel, basically, and boom, website's live. April 2011. Pretty fast, right?
Oh. Yeah, it really highlights, acting fast on an idea. They saw a clear problem for consumers and just built a solution quickly, no endless meetings.
And then comes 2012, the game changer, that launch video.
The big break.
Yeah, the sources call it their big break, and it's hard to disagree. And listen to this, it cost only $4,500 to make.
$4,500.
Shot in a warehouse. Talk about lean startup thinking. What jumps out at you there?
Well, it's just the sheer power of creative, focused content done on a tiny budget. They didn't need a Hollywood production to make something that really hit home with their audience.
Right.
It shows that knowing your customer often beats just throwing money at ads.
Totally. And it wasn't just pure luck either. Michael Dubin, one of the founders, he'd done improv comedy for 8 years.
Ah, interesting.
He actually says that experience was key to his marketing success. Makes you think, doesn't it, about where valuable skills can come from.
Oh, absolutely. Improv teaches you to think fast, read a room, use humor. Things that are gold when you're trying to make marketing that actually connects, that cuts through all the noise.
And that video, man, it was like a textbook growth hack, a smart move that just sparked rapid growth. Let's break down why it worked. First 10 seconds, you hear, $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door.
Bang. Super clear, straightforward, the main benefit right there.
No messing about. You know instantly what it is and the killer price.
Yep. And then the repetition, the website address over and over.
Right. It seems basic, but hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? They just hammered it home. Made it so easy to remember.
Super smart and direct. They removed any barrier for someone thinking, maybe I'll check that out. The call to action was baked right in. Memorable, too.
And the punchline. You can't forget that. Are our blades good? No. Our blades are fin gray. Just totally unexpected. Bit cheeky. Instantly shareable.
Yeah.
Why do you think that specific line hit so hard?
Well, it brought this authenticity and humor to a product category that was usually pretty stuffy and corporate, right?
Mm-hmm.
That surprising honesty plus the bold claim, it just made it feel more real.
Plus, they did actually talk about the products.
Yeah.
Stainless steel blades, aloe vera strip, the practical stuff.
Right.
But it wasn't like some dry technical sheet.
Exactly. They balanced the fun with the needed info. It wasn't just funny. It was funny, and it told you why you should buy it.
Totally. And just the whole vibe of the video was fun. It didn't feel like an ad you skip. It felt like something you'd actually show your mates.
And that's the magic, right? It tapped into this desire for, humor and a brand that felt more human, which the big razor ads just weren't doing.
The results were just, wow. Millions of views, media everywhere. Their website actually crashed on launch day, March 6th, 2012.
Crashed. That's a good problem to have, I guess.
Right. The next day, 12,000 new signups. Within days, 3 million views. 3 months, 4.75 million. Now it's over 27 million views, all from a $4,500 video. It's almost hard to believe. What's that tell you about viral potential?
It just shows the crazy power of content that genuinely connects. It wasn't just going viral randomly. It went viral with a clear point and a great offer. That video basically became their launch engine.
And all that buzz, it brought the money. Just a month later, April 2012, they get $1 million in pre-seed funding.
Okay.
That first proper investment from big Silicon Valley names, Kleiner Perkins, Andreessen Horowitz, loads more. Talk about instant validation. What made them so hot so fast, you think?
Well, that early success, right? Proven by the video views and those subscriber numbers, it massively reduced the risk for investors. The data showed real people wanted this.
And they didn't stop. Only 7 months on, October 2012, boom, another $10 million. Series A funding. Venrock joined in too.
Wow, fast follow.
Michael Dubin said they'd use it for new products and services for men. So clearly they were already thinking bigger than just cheap razors by mail. What does that suggest about their game plan?
It shows they knew early on that their first hit had built this loyal group who trusted the brand. So adding more products was the logical way to grow the value of each customer.
Then came more funding. $12 million Series B in 2013, then a big one. $75 million Series D in 2015. The money just kept coming as they grew. Each round must felt huge.
Oh, definitely. Each funding round basically signaled growing belief from investors. Belief in the model, their ability to scale up, and their potential to keep shaking up the market.
And by 2014, they were talking about expanding 12 men's grooming and skincare products.
Moving beyond just shaving.
Dubin told Fast Company it was a huge opportunity, and they wanted to use that direct link they had with their members, 330,000 of them back then. How vital was that direct-to-consumer thing for expanding?
Oh, it was crucial. That DTC model gave them amazing data, direct feedback. They knew their customers inside out, what they liked, what they needed. So adding products wasn't just a guess, it was informed, lower risk.
By 2015, the company's worth $615 million, 2 million members. They knew staying ahead meant more than just razors. They needed new stuff, great service, relevant online content. It wasn't just about getting that first sale, was it?
Exactly right. They were building something sustainable, keeping customers loyal, engaging them in different ways, not just sending blades every month.
And then, the headline news.
Yeah.
2016, Unilever buys Dollar Shave Club for a cool $1 billion in cash.
$1 billion, wow.
That fast growth certainly led somewhere. In just a few years, they'd become the #2 men's razor brand in the U.S., the most used subscription box. What does that price tag really tell us?
That $1 billion, it just screams how disruptive they were, how much market share they grabbed so fast. It proved the value of a strong D2C brand in a market ruled by old-school retail.
Even made the giant Gillette react. They had to cut prices 12% and launch their own subscription service.
Yeah, force their hand.
And Gillette's market share dropped from 70% in 2010 down to 54% by 2018. That's a serious dent.
It's like the classic David versus Goliath business story, isn't it? A smaller, quicker player making the big incumbent change its whole strategy.
And here's a cool fact. DSC was the first direct-to-consumer brand to hit unicorn status worth over $1 billion by being acquired.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Really shows how new and impactful their whole approach was.
They basically blazed the trail, didn't they? Showed other startups that the DSC model could be huge. Immense potential.
Okay, so that's the amazing story. Now, let's pull out the practical stuff. What are the key brand growth lessons that, listeners can actually take away from this whole DSC thing? Maybe apply to their own work or just understand business better.
Right. This is where we get beyond just the timeline and look at the how and why behind the success, the transferable bits.
Lesson 1. Consistent brand marketing. Even after a giant like Unilever bought them, DSC somehow kept its unique feel. Matt Knapp, their creative director, said Unilever basically trusted them to keep doing what they were doing. Why is sticking to your guns like that so important, especially after like a huge change like being bought?
Well, that consistency is what builds and keeps brand recognition and trust, you know? So often when a smaller, cool brand gets bought, the magic kind of fades.
Yeah, it gets diluted.
Exactly. But Unilever's approach let DSC keep that authenticity, the thing that grabbed their first customers.
Totally. They kept that fun, no BS, relatable, truthful vibe, like that 2019 Dad Bod campaign.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Men of all shapes, funny dancing.
Yeah.
It felt totally DSC.
It just reinforced that, like, down-to-earth, inclusive feel. Even as they got huge, they didn't lose that core personality that people liked in the first place.
Okay, lesson 2.
Oh.
Use a subscription model.
Hmm.
Michael Dubin's original beef was the pain of buying razors, right? The cost, the locked cabinets, having to remember.
Yeah, the hassle factor.
How did the subscription fix that and help the business?
Well, he found a real consumer annoyance and offered a super convenient, cost-effective fix. Good razors just show up at your door. Simple.
Right.
And for the business, that model builds loyalty, creates predictable income month after month, massively boosts the lifetime value of every customer.
That first box branded handle, first blades, then just refills each month. Simple, but kind of brilliant. And it skipped all the retail markups Gillette had to deal with.
By going direct, they could give the customer better value and keep more profit themselves. It's a win-win if you do it right.
Lesson 3. Be consistent with your brand voice. That witty, slightly edgy tone from the first video, it stayed.
Yeah, it didn't just vanish.
Matt Knapp again said Unilever let them do our thing.
They kept making funny, relatable stuff. How did sticking to that voice help long-term?
That consistent voice built a really strong, recognizable brand personality in a very crowded market. Customers knew what DSC was about. That familiarity, that consistency, it builds trust and, like, brand love. Their video ads kept using humor, normal situations, sometimes just absurd stuff with average people. And that same voice came through on Instagram everywhere. It all felt connected.
That unified voice across every way they talk to people just created this powerful, memorable identity, made them really stand out from the older, more serious guys.
And finally, lesson 4. Focus on ranking on Google. They weren't just about viral hits. Their blog, Dollar Shave Club original content. Huge part of their strategy. Why was content marketing and SEO so important for them?
Well, their content stuff was really strategic, designed to pull in people searching online for shaving advice, grooming tips. By giving out useful, entertaining info, they could catch customers at different points in their, buying journey.
Apparently, their blog drove a ton of search traffic. Arrest data suggests that.
Yeah.
And that witty, no BS voice was right there in the articles, too.
Yeah, consistency again.
They ranked for something like 80,000 keywords. Everything from Dollar Shave Club itself to broader stuff like, do you exfoliate before or after shaving? That's casting a wide net.
They basically set themselves up as the go-to resource in their area, building trust, authority, while also naturally attracting people who are already looking for what they sold.
And I love this detail. They had a shameless plug banner on their articles.
Oh, yeah.
It's direct, totally fits the brand, and it's always asking for the sale, basically.
It's clever, right? Integrated. Make sure their great content also points people straight towards buying something.
Looking past the sale to Unilever, Michael Dubin had this really big ambition. He said he wanted to make Dollar Shave Club the next Starbucks.
The next Starbucks. Yeah. Interesting comparison.
What is the idea there?
Well, his thinking was pretty sharp. He saw how Starbucks took coffee, a basic thing, and built this massive brand around it, created a consistent vibe, a shared language, almost a community. He wanted that same kind of brand power for DSC in the grooming world.
And the sources suggest that by 2021, they were actually making good headway on that. Building that kind of brand recognition and value, it became about more than razors. It was like building a relationship, a lifestyle almost.
Yeah, it's about weaving your brand into people's lives, you know, connecting on a deeper level than just this product works.
So quick wrap up of the big lessons from DSC's wild ride.
Yeah.
The amazing power of a viral launch if you nail it. How effective subscriptions are for loyalty and steady income. The absolute need for a consistent, authentic brand voice everywhere. And the power of smart content marketing and SEO, which maybe gets overlooked sometimes.
And they weren't just separate tricks, right? They were all linked. Part of a really well-played strategy that let them totally disrupt a huge industry super fast.
Yeah, for you listening, maybe you run a business, lead a team, or you're just fascinated by how brands blow up. These ideas, they apply broadly. Knowing your audience, being creative and consistent in how you talk to them, finding ways to reach them, that's valuable stuff in pretty much any area.
Totally agree. These core concepts: understand your market, craft a message that hits home, build a real connection. They're timeless. They work across different industries.
Okay, so here's a final thought to chew on. Looking past the specific tactics DSC used, what bigger shift in how people behave, how consumers think?
Yeah.
What fundamental thing did they really tap into? And how might that same insight apply to totally different fields or maybe areas you're interested in? Think about it. How can everyday stuff, normal products or services, build such a loyal following just by truly getting their audience and meeting their needs in a unique, compelling way?
Thanks for tuning in to Behind the Campaign. We hope you enjoyed this story and took away some valuable marketing insights. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this with a fellow marketer. Until next time.